Alrighty, let's continue. This one's gonna be crazy. This one's gonna be crazy. To think King Roland, Lady Frederica, and Sir Benedict's convictions would diverge so greatly after all this time. Just between you and me, Lord Serenoa, what do you make of their plans? You expected a Pellegrino? You really hit us with the juice box? You know, that's just how we do. Okay, so I have to choose a plan here before I go around talking to people. Benedict's plan, honestly, I think it's crazy. I've been kind of rocking with my decisions in this game to revolve around me putting the people first, or at least protecting the people. You know, if you're a homie, then we're gonna protect you. We're gonna do what we can to see that, you know, you're living good. We protected the Rosellans. We helped out various other people, which, you know, we did our best, even though everybody was trying to backstab us. So I don't really see Benedict's plan really working out for me, especially because allying with Esfrost is just, it's just insane. The thing that I see with it is, if we ally with Esfrost, I don't think the people will look favorably on us. And I think, you know, they may even revolt in of themselves. You know, like, they killed our king and now we're allying with them so that we prevent Hyzant from getting some salt. You know, like, come on. Roland's plan is pretty crazy in of itself, but it's also really the most reasonable, I think, of all the plans. Sure, everybody's going to get, you know, engulfed in the goddess's teachings and all that other stuff, but at the same time, like, it's reasonable coming from Roland. It's probably his best solution, so I respect it. I don't necessarily like it, but I respect it. I think Frederica's is probably the worst of them all. It's so, like, living in a fantasy land, you know? Like, I'm just gonna go free all of my people, and then we're just going to seek out this mythical land that will allow us to live in prosperity and all this other stuff. And it's just like, you're just gonna go die to some wolves or something like that. What are you gonna do? And then on top of that, I'm honestly getting kind of tired of Frederica's insistence on the Rosellans. It's, I can understand her desire to want to free her people, but to me, this may sound really bad, but to me, sitting in the position that I'm in, it's like if you were, let's just say that let's say you're Australian, okay? But you were born in the United States, okay? And, you know, you have a connection with Australia. You know, you like Australia. You may not have uh, met a lot of people from Australia, but, you know, you have a connection there. And all of a sudden, Australia is undergoing like a famine or something like that. And for whatever reason, now you want to put in all of your effort and all of your time into thinking of a way to save Australia from the famine. But you don't live in Australia. You have this connection there, but they're so far away. They have their own problems to deal with. You have your own problems to deal with. It just becomes one of those things where it's like, is it realistic? Is it something that you would actually put so much and devote so much time and mental energy into trying to help a situation that is so far distant from you? And the only connection you have to it is your heritage. You know, you don't live with them. You don't practice their ways. You don't like seek out their culture. You just see something happening over there, and you're like, I have to do everything in my power to handle that, and I have to do everything in my power to get everybody to help me handle that. So it's just it's getting kind of obnoxious that she's been doing this. And like, I don't want to say it's not I don't want to say like she can't do that. It's just she feels so far distanced from it that she's been pressing it just so much. An unbelievable amount. Also Shocking, thank you very much for the raid. Appreciate it. Oh man. Out of all the plans, Benedict's is crazy to you? I think all of them, Benedict's is probably the craziest. I think Frederica's is trying to make a fantasy a reality. And I think Roland's is respectable. But they're all crazy. But I think Benedict's is the craziest out of all the, like, because we would have to live with that decision for Benedict's, and we would have to deal with the consequences of that. Whereas Frederica's, we're just gonna go run off to Fantasyland. So, you know, there's that. To be fair, S-Frost is the only nation that hasn't betrayed you. Well, that's actually true in some twisted way. They have technically kept their word as far as House Wolffort is concerned. Glenbrook royalty, on the other hand, not so much. But interesting. Very, very interesting. Roland's the lesser of three evils. Frederica is definitely based on Moses leading the Jews to the wilderness for 40 years. You know, Frederica never spoke about the Rosellans and all the time she lived in Esfrost. Yeah. So you're saying Roland has been co-opted by a cult and Frederica has been co-opted by Twitter. You know, that actually kind of hits pretty home, right? Or that hits pretty home right there. Frederica is definitely a what's the word for it? She don't like, yeah, the typical things that I see on Twitter sometimes. That makes a lot of sense. Although I actually think she cares, whereas on Twitter, I think 75% of the comments that you see, they don't actually care. They just want to participate in the outrage or get their likes and retweets or something. You'll help me? Don't worry. All right, Dante. You're actually in this game, Dante. There is a wizard named Grand Dante. So if you're gonna be coming out to save me, this is your time. So of these 3 plans, I'm not gonna choose Benedict's plan. Again, I think it's crazy. Which means it's Roland or it's Frederica's. And while I like Roland's choice, and I like the path that he's gone, and I like how he came to this conclusion, I like his reasonings for everything, I'm not really interested in letting Hyzant win in any capacity. So, as crazy as it sounds, I think I'm going to Fantasyland, and I'm going to help Frederica free the Rosellans, spread all the news about the salt, and die to some wolves. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be crazy. That's funny because your legal first name is Grand. Knew you'd be that kind of man. All right. Frederica's wish is a human one. She desires to liberate those who've been cruelly oppressed. Aye, but in reality, humans usually only act in their own best interest, even if it means turning a blind eye to the suffering of others. Lady Frederica is a strong woman to stand up for what is right. Couldn't agree more. Ignoring their plight now would be shameful, especially knowing what we do of their innocence. Everyone's choices are deeply rooted in their convictions. It makes me wonder if they'll be able to abide by the Scales' decision. Lord Serenoa, it will fall to you to lead everyone down the right path. Of course, I wish for us all to walk astride the same path as we always have. Lord Serenoa, I cannot help but feel that our greatest battle lies ahead regardless of which path you choose. I know that this may not be the best time to say so, but my wife gave birth to our first child not a few days ago. I will not force you to march with us. I ask only that you act according to your own conviction. Might have time to think about it, my lord. But of course, the path before me diverges as well, and I must also take time to think before making a decision. Let us both choose a path that leaves us with no regrets. Thank you, Lord Serenoa. It is an honor to call you my lord. And I don't mind actually leaving the Wolffort domain and just letting everybody else, get bodied, fight it all out. I'm okay with that. Okay. Do you have anything to say?
Serenoa.
Only we can free the Roselle and expel the lie that has kept them in bondage these many years. However, we must move quickly while their gaze is fixed upon the salt crystals. I believe we can succeed. I hear your plea, yet I cannot help but wonder if you wish to act with too much haste.
But
I know not what I can do to prove to you that I have thought this through. I swear to you this is no fit of pique. Benedict's stratagem may also provide the chance to strike at Hyzant. Would that not be enough? It also prolongs this war, and thus the immense suffering of my people. Even if we do prevail, you know as well as I that my brother is not a merciful man, will not spare so much as a thought for the weak. That much is true. The Roselle's plight would be buried once more amid negotiations between the nations. Do you see? The time is now, and only we have the power to save them. Power we forfeit if we assent to Roland's plan.
I have decided.
This is the one vision for our future that I cannot abide. Perhaps my concerns seem narrow when all Norzelia is at stake, but I know you can save my brothers and sisters. I beg you consider it. Words have no power here.
Serenoa.
We must give Hyzant the salt crystals, Cal Esfrost, and unite all Norzelia in the name of the goddess, else we will never know peace. The Roselle will continue to suffer, 'tis true, but this will end war as we know it, and countless more will live in peace as equals.
I have made my decision.
We will see this done, not just for the people of Glenbrook, but for all Norzelia. Roland, you are a king, or you are the king. Surely cooperation with Hyzant need not mean the forfeit of the kingdom.
I think not.
That is where you are wrong, my friend. My time on the throne has shown me that the people need a force more powerful than any king to show them the way. There is many paths that lead us out of war, Roland. Cooperating with Esfrost, for instance. End the war by allying with the very Archduke who set this in motion? No, cooperating with that tyrant ends nothing. His avarice has brought only pain and suffering to this land.
Moreover,
if anyone understood the torturous path I've taken to arrive at this decision, I thought it would be you, Serenoa. You honestly think you would go with Benedict among the three choices offered? You think it's the only way to protect the people that look up to House Wolffort? Hyzant would definitely dominate Norzelia. Frederica's plan is giving death flags. Wow, so she's open to Benedict's plan? I think she's open to it just because, you know, there's still a possibility that she can save them. It's not, I mean, Roland just says, forget about it. It's never going to happen. But with Benedict's plan, however slim, the possibility still is there.
My lord.
We share a common goal with Esfrost at the moment. It is incumbent upon us to seize that opportunity and rid Norzelia of Hyzant for good. Indeed, the salt crystals make an alliance with Esfrost possible, but Roland would never assent to it. He feels the weight of the crown, underestimates his own abilities, and has allowed his hatred for Gustadolf to cloud his judgment. I sympathize, but those matters should have no bearing on the welfare of our house. Perhaps you are right, but then what of Frederica's vision? Do you concede that her plan concerns our house?
Quite impossible.
I concede nothing, for her strategy is out of the question. She asks us to forfeit all we have fought to build in this domain. How can we reasonably entertain such a proposition? And you'll brook no argument otherwise. None.
We must decide.
May I remind you that you are Lord of House Wolffort. Your duty is to your people above all else.
I believe I've reached a decision.
This moment requires a dispassionate mind. I pray you have one. All right. We've heard all sides. And as mentioned, I'm gonna go with Frederica's vision. I don't think we're going to win. And I don't think we're going to be able to convince them that that's the option. But yeah, I think it's also interesting to just let them all decide. I mean, that would be kind of fun. To be fair, they aren't even married yet, and she's asking you to give up everything. You'd do the same. Oh man, I don't mind giving up everything. You know, like the thing is that if we ally with Esfrost, we still have to deal with Esfrost after this. So by saving the Rosellans, packing up and leaving, there could be something of that. Like I've been saying, it's a fantasy, But if, let's say it works out, wouldn't that be the best ending for this game? If we go with Roland, we're just we're assimilated by Hyzant. There is a peace, but you know, we have no more free will. Everybody does what the Hierophant wants, which is probably Eodor. And if we do Benedict's strategy, then let's say we beat Hyzant and, you know, we handle that issue. Well, Frost is right there, and, you know, they're going to do whatever they want. Plus, Roland is still going to be around. What is Roland going to do while we're doing that? I don't think Roland's going to go with our plan regardless. Is he just going to help Hyzant during all this? It may not be the most logical choice, but I think the most practical choice is to say, I'm going to let all you people fight it out. I'm dipping.
What do you need?
Each path before us demands a great sacrifice in exchange for a great reward. I am sure King Roland, Benedict, and Frederica have agonized over their proposals.
Well...
So now we must agonize over our own decisions. Alright, let's go with Frederica. Must say I'm surprised by your support of Frederica's vision. I've been by her side for years, but even I must admit it is rather hopeful if I am being charitable. Perhaps you see something I do not. Norzelia will be forever plagued by war. I wish to leave this place and create a new nation that knows only peace. You mean to forsake not only your domain, but all Norzelia?
I don't know.
I concede that Hyzant will not admit defeat should we manage to free the Roselle. Do you truly believe that searching for Centralia and starting anew will prove any easier? I do, though I acknowledge that it is far easier said than done.
Uh-huh.
I should say so. It sounds like a daydream, if I may speak so plainly.
I don't know.
Yet the world is vast and full of wonders. I cannot in good faith argue that Centralia does not exist. Perhaps forging ahead is the only answer. May it lead us to the future you dream of, if this is what you desire. If nothing else, as Frederica's attendant, I must say that it warms my heart to see you support her so diligently. You must truly love her. I don't even know why Huette is undecided. I know where you're going to go, Huette. Huette is 100% going to sign up with Benedict. Just watch.
However...
Here we stand after a bitter fight to reclaim the crown city, only for the king to speak of forsaking it. As his subject, it is my duty to follow his decree, and yet... My lord, the choice before us feels immense. I am utterly adrift. Pray, tell me how you see the proposals from King Roland and the others. I need your guidance. Let's bounce. You've taken Frederica's side in all this. What fascination do the Roselle hold for you, my lord? Frederica has shown me a future in which no one is beholden to salt, or indeed to any nation. So if the choice is to ally with the duchy, who prize might over all else, or submit to the holy state, who prey upon the weak,
But...
you mean to suggest we simply do neither? Precisely. She has shown me the Rosellan legends are true. That means there is hope for all of us. A hope I would bet my life upon. So long as we sit between two nations, we've no compassion for, or who've no compassion for the weak, I fear we will never know peace.
Furthermore...
I take your point. War will spread, and perhaps only end when the death's knell and Aelfric are unleashed upon the continent. So you see why I would choose to flee with the weak rather than to party to the atrocities of the powerful. It will be a flight amid a hail of arrows and steel, but so righteous and noble that I would be proud to give my life for it. You've stated your case well, my lord. All right. All right. Not sure what homeboy Slice over here would want to do. I don't think he's any more interested. I don't think he's interested in anybody's choice. Benedict is going to have Anna take care of Roland. Oh, man, that would be... Oof. Oof. Benedict, the true villain? Even Gila is saying she's crazy. Duet definitely is more logical. These characters all have unique perspectives on it. And I'm not even sure if Gila is going to... what she's going to do.
Aye, lad.
Our sweat and bloods fed this land, built it into a proper domain. I see no reason why we should surrender it all to Hyzant. Lady Frederica, while I sympathize, asks that we risk everything for the sake of the Roselle.
Here's what I think.
Benedict's got the right of it, I reckon, but even that doesn't quite quiet the nagging feeling I get every time I think about our options. All right. Frederica. How could you possibly support Lady Frederica's vision? Have you gone mad? The war will never end so long as we hold the salt crystals. We must relinquish them and break the cycle of violence. The salt is the source of a lot of trouble, yes, but there's precious little we can do about it.
Consider this.
Anyone in Norzelia would tell you the same. I'm well aware of our situation, Eridor, but I tire of fighting. We cannot go on like this. I beg you, join me in finding another way forward.
And further.
You've precious little idea how much I sympathize, and I want to help you. But Lady Frederica's vision is... it's fantasy, my lord, and a foolhardy one at that. You can beg till you're blue in the face, but I doubt you'll win much support. Okay. I felt as much. Eridor would stick with Benedict, you would imagine? Well, he did. What if we have another surprise vote? Oh, man.
Lord Serenoa.
Benedict and King Roland would march us to war. Frederica would see Hyzant hunt us for all eternity. Perhaps her vision is not so different. So it's come to this. Ally with a one-time opponent, or flee with the Roselle.
However...
Bold proposals all. Our tactics must be flawless. Alright, let's run away. So you assent to Frederica's vision for the future. War is coming, a war for all Norzelia, and you would forfeit your role in it. If the Death's Knell and Aelfric are unleashed on the battlefield, the casualties will eclipse any war that's come before.
Perhaps.
The Death's Knell and Aelfric, the casualties would be immense. I had not considered that they might be unleashed simultaneously. The stakes warrant it, whether they are complete or not. We have already shown them the way by using Aelfric in battle. Precisely. They will undoubtedly both be employed.
Then?
Unprecedented destruction is all that awaits us here. A war whose victor will rule over a pile of ash. And I will not be party to such devastation. I can think of far more productive uses for such power. I see your reasoning. I confess I thought only in terms of battles past. So much so that I forgot avoiding battle was ever an option. Alright. Alright. Let's see if I manage to convince. This is gonna be rough.
It is time to cast our votes. The opinions before us are many. Roland's, Frederica's, Benedict's. Which to choose?
We want green.
Approach the scales of conviction with your token at the ready.
Right, Gila?
I agree wholeheartedly.
Made up my mind. I stand with you, Lord Serenoa. We're at 2.
My apologies.
Decided to stand my ground, whatever that means.
I have faith in you.
Decided that this is what's best for both King Roland and us all. I don't know what that means.
Forgive me, lad.
Sorry, lad, but my gut tells me this is the right path. Uh-oh. I don't think we got it. I don't think we got it. We want green.
The scales of conviction will illuminate the path we've chosen.
Show me green. Anything but Roland. So you can tie. Anna went with Benedict. You suck a fool.
Equal votes for all sides. As such, the Lord of the House will render the final decision.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Frederica. Let's engage in fantasy.
The way forward is decided. Frederica's dream is worth realizing. We will free the Roselle from the source.
You did say anything but Roland. I did say that.
A tumultuous meeting exposes a yawning chasm between Roland, Frederica, and Benedict's visions for the future. Yet only one will emerge victorious, for such is the custom of House Wolfford. As ever, the scales of conviction have the final word. The time has come for judgments to be rendered and leaders to steel themselves for the outcome.
One last request.
We've chosen our path. We are to free the Roselle being held in Hyzant's source.
He is salty.
You have chosen the one path I cannot take.
I understand your disappointment, Benedict, but the scales have spoken. And so I ask for your wisdom. Help us find a way to free the Roselle.
Hyzant will destroy everything you hold dear if you attempt to free them. That way lies ruin. Your choice is to turn your back on this house, to cast aside your land and the people who have built their lives upon it. I will not, I cannot endorse such betrayal.
I agree that we will be ill-prepared to defend the domain this way. Should that come to pass, I am prepared to flee with the Roselle and search for Centralia. They say it is home to a boundless salted sea. Surely a land where none need fight for salt is a land worth seeking. This is an opportunity, Benedict. We could find a new home instead of fighting the wars of old yet again.
Why not channel that resolve to lead the people of Norzelia as their king? You hold the power and the might. You lack only the will. With the salt crystals in hand, you shall ascend the throne. I shall see to it that you are coronated. Then we can liberate the Roselle, or whatever else your heart desires.
Liberate the Roselle, or whatever else. I never dreamed I would hear such callous words fall from your lips.
I stand by them. I care only that you and the legacy of House Wolford are safe and secure. I shall offer my counsel by force, if needed.
You don't mean to fight the lad.
Stand down, Benedict.
No, Anna. This is a challenge that I must accept.
I beg you to reconsider. If you mean to proceed with this folly, then you will do so over my dead body. You can do so much more, Lord Serenoa. The salt crystals give you the upper hand. Esfrost and Hyzant would bend the knee to you. You could unite all Norzelia under your rule.
You were right about me, Benedict. I lack the will. I have no desire to rule Norzelia. I wish to see an oppressed people set free and nothing more.
At what cost? Would you see your loyal subjects conquered by another nation?
I would forfeit my lordship. The people of Wolfort will endure without me. The Roselle have no such champion for their cause. We are the only ones who can set them free.
Give me the order, and I shall reduce Hyzant to rubble. Then they shall be free.
The ensuing battle will only breed further resentment, or worse, displace others who will be treated like the Roselle. War cannot solve every problem, and our liberation of the Roselle shall prove as much.
So, you now take blind counsel from your betrothed. To think that an arranged marriage would lead to this folly.
Enough! I came to this conclusion of my own free will. I have seen the challenges that face Norzelia, and this is how I choose to respond.
You are every inch Lady Destra's child. Your compassion steers you headlong into every conflict. Alas, compassion is easily trampled. It can only exist so long as it has an army at its back. My patience grows thin, Lord Serenoa. The salt crystals give you the power to bring peace to Norzelia.
You're wrong. It is little more than the catalyst for another protracted war.
A war we can win. Let me lead you to victory.
There is always a war to be won. Do you not see the cycle at work? I will break that cycle and use my power to liberate the oppressed.
You talk of fleeing from your duty, of pure fantasy.
We need you, Benedict. Why can you not put our differences aside?
This is absurd. You race toward your own destruction, and I will not be party to it. Lord Simon entrusted me with the future of this house. And I swore an oath to Lady Destra that I would protect you no matter what the cost.
You are shackled to the past, Benedict.
I would call it loyalty.
And it has come to this. For the sake of our future, I must strike you down.
Prepare yourself. You came, you missed.
It's really coming to this.
You missed.
I yield. Grant me the mercy of a swift death.
No. Neither father nor mother would stand for the killing of a loyal retainer. The rest of us shall make our way to Hyzant in secret. You will remain here. Lead the people out of the Wolfort domain before the Hyzantian army assaults this castle, and keep them safe.
These are your orders, in exchange for sparing my life?
These are not orders, and there is no exchange to be made. This is the last thing I will ever ask of you as my steward and loyal friend of House Wolfort.
And so, you follow in the footsteps of Lord Simone and Lady Destra, leaving me behind with the most arduous tasks. I shall rise to the occasion, my lord. I shall do whatever is required to see that the Wolfort name and its people survive. Should House Wolfort lose its lord, I shall lead the house forward in your stead.
I have no doubt you will.
Dang. Dang. It's a good thing I stopped using Benedict. Dang.
Benedict.
Mule-headed fool.
We've each made our choices. Now we must walk the path we believe is right.
Yes.
King Roland, this decision means casting Glenbrook aside. I know I cannot ask you to come with me, but will you agree to see to the salt crystals?
No. I am sorry, my friend. But I am not worthy to oversee such an important task.
Of course you are. You have always striven to be fair and just.
You hold me much too high in regard. Our conversation earlier made me realize the truth. My faith was misguided, as were my actions. I believed exacting vengeance upon Esfrost would be proof enough I was Glenbrook's rightful king. But I gave no thought to the bloody cost of revenge. This kingdom and its subjects should not have to suffer such a selfish fool upon the throne.
Then, you will come with me?
I shall. Not as your king, but as your friend. If I can help those in need, that is enough. Glenbrook has the geographical advantage, and the salt crystals. And there are a small handful of trustworthy nobles remaining. I'm certain they will ensure the people thrive, even without a king. Glenbrook is in too powerful a position for foreign powers to interfere.
Roland.
You know you aren't leaving me behind. I've come this far by your side. I'm not abandoning you now.
You have my thanks, Huette.
Frederica, don't you think you ought to make your convictions clear to your companions?
Well, it's common knowledge by now that I'm an Esfrosti of Rosellan descent. I was a lonely child who hated that her hair was a different color from everyone else. But then I joined House Wolford. I met Jerome and witnessed the cruelty that my fellow Roselle suffered at the source. And I learned how brave my mother was, how long and hard she fought for her people's freedom. Compared to the horrors they went through, I have lived a life of privilege and comfort. I am proud to be a Rosellan, and proud to be a Wolford. I wish to be strong, strong like my lady mother before me. And I wish to see her dream of freeing our people fulfilled. I understand the difficulties that lie ahead, but hope that I might have you all with me.
We will always be there beside you, Frederica.
My lord, Hyzant's army has sent a message ahead of their forces. It says, the Grand Norzalian mines must be conferred to the goddess as a divine offering.
An offering? Sounds more like an ultimatum.
Precisely. If we refuse to relinquish the mines, they'll put the Wolford domain to the sword.
Then we've no time to waste. We must make ready to leave at once.
Benedict.
I leave the rest in your hands, Anna.
All these years I have watched you. I may not be able to replace you, but I will do my best.
Loath as I am to burden you with such responsibility, that is heartening.
This ain't the Benedict I know. Come on. Where's your usual glower?
You never change.
Huh. I should hope not. Defending House Wolford calls for consistency. And defend Wolford I shall, even in your absence.
I shall hold you to it, both of you.
I'm telling you, we've got it under control.
Your voice hasn't gotten any quieter.
Sorry. Parting ways with a friend always gets me worked up.
Thank you for seeing me off, you two. Farewell.
What of the Hyzantian forces?
They haven't entered the domain yet. If we act now, we could sneak around them and reach the capital.
Focused as they are on seizing the salt crystal deposits, I'd wager their domestic defenses are at a minimum.
If we can get into the capital and have the Roselle and the Source take up arms, we should stand a fair chance of helping them escape.
But Hyzant is wary of Serenoa for keeping the salt crystals from them, despite his position as one of the Saintly Seven. They may be short-handed, but if they spot him, we'll never make it inside.
We can use the Consortium cart to slip unnoticed into the capital.
The wagon from Claris? You sure we can trust the Consortium?
Yes. If only because this benefits both us and him. In exchange, I told him what secrets we learned of Esfrost and Hyzant.
You mean you told them of Dragan's murder and the illicit salt trade? I hope he understands those secrets must never leave his lips.
He understands. Once people learn of the salt crystals, Norzelia will change. And the Consortium will have a new role to serve. Now that they know, they will be better prepared to negotiate their position. They agreed to help us as a show of gratitude.
You've thought this through. Well done, Anna.
What of our things, Gila?
Stored safely within the cart, of course.
Things? What things?
The explosives we found in the tunnel.
After we've gotten the Roselle to rise up, we'll set sail from the harbor and make for the Folk's Domain, to the Great Falls. To make sure no one follows us, we'll blow up all the other ships in the harbor as we leave.
Frederica and I devised the plan ourselves.
A perfect way to make an escape with so many people.
Wise of you to make for the Folk's Domain. It's distant enough. You'll have plenty of time to hide.
Aye, about as far south as you can get. No better place, if your end goal is Centralia, too.
It's a good plan. We shall do what we can to make sure it succeeds.
Crafty as ever, you Wolforts. I am glad to be on your side.
But one problem remains. How do we get the Roselle and the Source to turn against their captors? If we can't win their trust, all this is for naught.
We need some way of persuading them. And quickly, too.
Let me worry about that. I can find the words to convince them. I am my mother's daughter, after all.
All right. I know you'll figure something out, Frederica.
There is one more thing. Huette, I'll need to send a bird.
Of course, my lady. Where to?
The Rosellan village. I'd like to tell Jerome and the others of our plan. I would have them meet us at the Great Falls.
Agreeing to such a thing means they will have to give up the lives they enjoy now. Do you think they will come?
I cannot say. Regardless, I owe it to them to let them know Hyzant is invaded.
Indeed. Let us send word and see what they have to say.
Serenoa is dying in this ending. Maybe. Maybe.
Upon learning of the salt crystal deposits, Hyzant quickly musters her forces. They march upon the Wolfort domain, intent on seizing control of the mine. Serenoa decides to take this as an opportunity to free the Roselle enslaved at the Source. But that decision leads to Benedict's departure from House Wolfort. Still grappling with grief over parting ways with their friend, Serenoa and the others make for the Hyzantian capital. There, amidst a land in turmoil, they hope to help the Roselle rise up against their oppressors.
What is this? A single man puts an end to the chaos caused by some Esfrosti soldiers in Glenbrook.
Ah, my shop! Someone stop this madness!
Carry on screaming and sniveling! This land is ours now, and we'll do as we please!
You monsters!
Ha! Try me! I'll cut you down where you stand! And just what do you think you're doing?
You disgust me. Be gone from this place.
So, you've chosen death then?
Hold! Lest my eyes deceive me, is that not Sir Flanagan?
And what if I am?
'Tis him! The bloody shield in the flesh!
You're a Black Iron Captain! Damn it all! Run for your life, you fool!
How far they have fallen. They confuse might for morality, and sully the duchy's good name.
Hail, soldier! I cannot thank you enough for coming to my aid.
'Tis instinct. I cannot abide such cruelty. Though I no longer call myself a soldier, it is the only station my skills afford me.
Flanagan.
Milord, a man calling himself Flanagan requests an audience. Will you grant it? Flanagan? The name sounds familiar somehow.
Ah, he fought in the tourney, didn't he? The one they call the Bloody Shield.
The Esfrosti soldier. What brings him to me? Anyhow, send him in. My lord.
Been a few moons, Bloody Shield.
And many more since I answered to that name.
Then what brings an Esfrosti to us this day?
Words cannot bring back your countrymen, but I give them to you anyway. I condemn the Duchy's actions with every fiber of my being. Deeply ashamed am I of our Archduke's willingness to shed the blood of innocents. Meager though they may be, you have my sympathies.
So, you came all this way just to apologize? You're a strange one, all right.
I am well aware that words alone mean little. And that is why I offer my service, that my words might ring true.
Why House Wolfort? There are far greater armies that would give anything to have a warrior like you in their ranks.
I have no interest in further bolstering the might of Esfrost or Hyzend. They trample the weak with no remorse. I will stand for it no longer.
And you think you can stand here and call us weak? You little...
You intrigue me, Sir Flanagan. But what of your title? Is your shield truly stained with blood?
It's a name given to me by men, nothing more.
You can trust he'll hold his own in battle if you take him in. One look is enough to tell you that.
A boon to our cause, then. Provided we ourselves do not become the very thing you despise. House Wolfort welcomes you, Sir Flanagan.
The feeling of intrigue is mutual. I am at your service.
You're two peas in a pod, aren't you?
Flanagan. Some of these recruitment things are so awkward, especially at certain, like, the points in the story. Just kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You know, it's like, Esfrost is not really an issue anymore, but y'all talking about like it's an issue. Rugged and mighty warrior who soars above the battlefield, draws the enemy's attacks, stands strong against head-on attacks. Interesting. Okay, 3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Increased damage inflicted to you by arrows. Increased damage taken head on. Deal physical damage to a single enemy and have a chance to infuriate them. Ride your hawk to a selected square. The hawk will deal physical damage to all enemies within range. Healing stance. Raise your defense but lower your movement by 1 for 3 turns. Okay. Don't see myself using this particular character, but he seems okay. Very, very tanky. Mobility-based tank, I would add, which is a lot more alluring than Eredor, who is not so mobile. But at the same time, Eredor has various other things to make him tanky. So, very, very interesting. Won't be using Flanagan. But he's curious. Oh, got a secret one up here. You think Benedict's gonna betray me and try to...
Archduke Gustadolf, we received word from Wolfort.
Try to kind of like parlay with Esfrost, because I feel like he might do that anyways.
XM's forces have crossed into their domain.
So they know of the Salt Crystals. Then battle is inevitable. How will House Wolfort respond?
I should think it obvious they will attack us. Their lord is one of the Saintly Seven, after all.
I am unconvinced of that. Perhaps they will offer us Salt Crystals to secure our alliance.
To what end?
History is changing around us as we speak. If Wolford wishes to guide the shape our future takes, he will need all the help he can get. He can choose to submit to Hyzan's tyranny, or work with us to bring freedom to our land. Or he might choose to take advantage of the chaos. Will you follow in Lady Orlea's footsteps, Frederica? Somehow I doubt it.
Your pardon, Archduke.
It's nothing. I let my thoughts wander too far. Whatever path Wolford chooses, they all lead to war. Ready our forces.
Even Gustadolf sees the two paths laid before, but he is not ready. Let's do the Hierophant Palace first. Even though this one's the more juicy one.
Minister Exham's forces ought to be crossing into Wolford's domain any moment now.
Will it be war, or will they relinquish the salt crystal deposits without resistance?
I think we have no cause for worry. Minister Serenoa is one of our saintly seven, after all.
Nevertheless, we cannot be certain what he will choose. Whoever controls those salt crystals controls the future of all Norzelia. Knowing that, you truly think he would give them up without a fight?
Minister Lila is right. He may very well decide to ally with Aesfrost and rise up against us. I made sure Minister Exham understood he may very well be marching to war.
Wolford is a prideful house. If we apply too much pressure on them, they may hold out simply out of principle.
Honestly, they are more trouble than they are worth. It almost makes me wish we could turn them and Aesfrost against each other.
That is something else to consider. We could even promise them the Roselle's freedom, should they triumph over the duchy.
A fine proposition. The best outcome would be to have them destroy Aesfrost for good.
And in doing so, they'd be destroyed themselves. Surely you would not wish for such slaughter.
Soft hearts have no place here, Minister Camsell. We fight for control of all Norzelia.
And we must fight to win. Our troops will need Elfric, Minister Lila. See that they have it.
Of course. I'll see to any final adjustments at the Ministry of Medicine.
Getting crazy.
What? You want us to leave the city?
You couldn't have told us this sooner? I've got a family to worry about.
I understand I ask much of you, but a bloody battle is nigh. You must be ready to evacuate if it comes to it.
But where's our lord? Won't he protect us?
Lord Serenoa marches toward an even fiercer conflict than what we face here. He left me to protect the people of Wolford in his stead. I ask that you trust in our house and do as I bid.
All right then. I suppose we'll start packing.
Your mastery at matters of war has kept us safe this long. If you say we need to leave, that's what we'll do.
You have my thanks. I've one more thing to ask of you. Something I'd like each of you to make.
What are you doing, Benedict? What are you doing? Oops, I pressed the B button.